Hello and welcome to Copilot for Work. This is your Copilot speaking. Today we're going to be looking at Microsoft Copilot improvements for Windows 11. So this was released last month, and what it's saying is that it's incorporated new capabilities into Windows 11 Copilot. So some of the features that we're getting, and we're able to see it over here, is we do have a Windows Copilot pane, and you can actually launch it using the Copilot button on the bottom right over here. It is still in preview. What we're seeing in this announcement is that there are new plugins available. So when we look at Copilot in Windows 11, you click on this plugin button on the top right, you have the capability to enhance the way that you search, powered by the web. This is powered by Bing. And you do have other plugins that you can utilize as well for Kayak, for OpenTable, variety of different plugins. Still relatively limited at this point of time. Hopefully they will add some more in the future. Now, some of the new skills that are quite interesting that we're going to be getting into is the ability to adjust PC settings quickly. When you look at the Copilot experience in Windows 11, it's very similar to what you get in the browser as well. So this is an Edge browser from Microsoft, and this is the Microsoft Copilot Assistant built into the browser. So you can launch it over here. Other ways that you can launch Windows 11 Copilot is actually by pressing the Windows and the C key. So if I press the Windows and C key, I can launch it on the sidebar, snap it. And if you see at the top right over here, you actually do have the ability to show side by side. So if I think about maximizing this window, let me dismiss Copilot. And if I think about maximizing the window, now if I launch the Copilot panel, and if I select the button to show side by side, it snaps to the application. So same thing. Now if I dismiss it, the application goes back to full screen. And I think this is a neat little integration that has happened that allows us to very quickly call up a Copilot assistant, much like a chat bar. So coming back to Windows 11 Copilot, we're going to be looking at some of the new skills that have been added, PC settings. Now, given some of them are tested out earlier on today, and unfortunately, not all of them are working just of yet. So things like the ability to actually tune into settings, this is something that is pretty cool, I feel, but not all of them work. So for example, if I do query on battery saver, you're going to notice that the prompt it takes a while and it's doing more of a search. So it gives me instructions on how I can do it, but this is similar to what you would get in the web experience at the moment, right? So if I go to web experience and I ask it to turn on battery saver, it's going to give me the same type of experience. It gives me instructions. Now, if I try things like show device information, now this is where the magic is happening, right? So what we've seen is that it's actually helped me to launch my settings panel and gone into device information. So it was able to show me my device information. Same thing, show, if I do this in the web, show device information. It's not going to be able to do that because in the web browser, it's not actually linked into the Windows 11 system. Okay, it's giving me instructions for how I can do that. Now, what if we try show system information? Still doesn't work at the moment. It's giving me instructions, show battery information. So what I can do is that I can actually open an application. And in this case, it's actually helping me to run a command prompt. So I believe you can actually get around this and actually use Copilot to run different applications. So what if I try, for example, open Word document? So now it gives me options to be able to interact with it. I can click on yes, and it's going to open and launch Word documents for me. And I believe this should work with a variety of applications as well. So if I ask it to open Spotify, let's see if it's able to detect Spotify on my computer. Detected the Spotify application, and it's launching Spotify over here. Open storage page. So this is mainly to do with the settings. It doesn't work that well for storage page, but you get the gist of it. So I think with the PC settings, more and more capability is going to come up over time. And I feel like the core applications for this would be, actually, if you think about even using your microphone to narrate it, that should be a good way of actually activating it from an accessibility perspective. One of the other settings that I know it's able to do well is it's actually able to turn on do not disturb mode. So I can say do not disturb, and it's going to give me buttons to be able to do that, right? So turned on do not disturb. You notice the notification button over here is changed over to do not disturb. Now let's try using the microphone. Turn off DND. Now I've asked it to turn off DND. It should be able to identify that DND is do not disturb mode.
You can interact with the dialog box to confirm if you want to disable do not disturb mode.
See, and so this is one of the great features we're going to get into in a bit more detail. Accessibility. Select yes. Now pushing it to its limits, trying to see whether or not an accessibility prompt would actually be able to identify that there's a button. So it's telling me that I can interact with the dialog box, but you can see it's turned it off now. See? So my do not disturb mode is still there. I actually need to interact with the button, and I hope this is something that gets fixed in a later update. See, now finally it's turned it off. Now notifications will appear. So we've touched a little bit around settings. Now we're going to get into accessibility, and we can maybe look at things like device information as well. So I've tried this earlier on. So I've asked it about launching live captions, and it doesn't seem to be able to do that at this point of time. So it's going to be able to direct me to settings, but it's not actually helping me to launch the live captions. Now, live captions is a feature that you should look into. It actually gives you the ability to add captions into your Windows 11 experience. So if, for example, I launch it using the shortcut key, so it's Windows Control L, there it is. It says that it's ready to caption. And so what this can do is it can actually start to caption possibly from your microphone or from the audio that you get. So for example, over here, I'm going to turn on this audio, and I'm going to turn on the settings as well.
And from the suggestion, choose settings, and you will find the option of captions. So click on it, and where it says live captions, you have to just be done. You're all set, and here you can see the preview that how it looks like, and there is some more options like caption style, so you can choose it. All right,
so there's a variety of ways that you can actually interact with the captions as well. So you can have it overlaid on the screen, which is like this. I can drag it around like a box. I can put it at the top of the screen, below the screen, above or below. Now I believe the only language that's supported at this point in time is the English language for United States. I don't think there's the ability to add any additional languages, even though I have Chinese simplified over here. Yeah, so hopefully they add additional languages in a future patch update. Okay, so not able to launch. Now we can try something like launch narrator. Let's see if that works. Nope. Still teaches you the shortcut keys, but it's not launching it for you directly. Launch screen magnifier. Same thing. Open voice access page. So it looks like it's able to open it, but again, this is just launching settings. I still need to navigate to the right location. Right, so if I try that again, maybe with text size page. Again, it's opening settings, but it's not helping me to navigate to the right location. Okay, let's try device information. Show available Wi-Fi networks. Doesn't seem to work. Display IP address. And this one should be relatively simple because this is something that was already available in other Microsoft products like the HoloLens 2. Nope, still opening settings, but it is giving me information on how to find it. Empty, like open. So far, most of this isn't working the way that it's intended to work. I think it's given you some capability in the basics. Now let's take a look at the second part of things. So new creativity app updates. So one of the nice things that I've noticed is that with Copilot, both in terms of Windows as well as in just the general Copilot app that you can get on your mobile device, as well as the Copilot that you can open in browser, what you're going to notice is that it's tried to group all of the Copilot capabilities. It's also included Designer. So in the past, you used to need to actually open up Designer. So you can actually go to designer.microsoft.com. Personal account, you can log in. I don't think it works with a business account. And from here, you can actually use DALL-E 3 to generate images. Okay. In the past, you needed to use this Designer. But now what you can actually do is you can use Designer directly in Copilot. So if I asked it to design something over here, and this is something that you're going to notice as well. So if you clicked on New Chat, you actually come through this list for AI companions, right? You would see that it has the ability to create images, right? So it's suggesting as well. So even in terms of the prompts, generate 3D movie poster. So if I click on this, it's going to generate it for me. Same thing in the Windows 11 experience. I click on new topic. If I ask it to actually generate an image for me, it's going to be able to generate that image using Designer directly in my Copilot chat. So again, without having to leave this application, it keeps it in the flow of my work. All right, and you see what it does is it actually generates 4 images. It's powered in Designer, and what you can do is you can click on these buttons to add it, save it to new collection. You can continue to ask it to make edits if necessary. Okay, like the Windows one ran into some errors. So if I actually open up the recent experience, there it is. So generate an image representing Windows 11 Copilot. Okay. What you can actually do is you can also open up Designer directly to get into the nitty-gritty of how you would edit it as well, right? Because you might want to come in over here and make adjustments to it. But I like that you can actually start generating images directly in your chat before you switch out to Designer to make updates to it. Okay. What you can do is you can also interact with it, so you can make it more colorful, right? And through your prompts, you can actually adjust the image. So this is something that I like. With Designer in the past, I believe each prompt that you give, it generates the image. You then need to edit the entire prompt. You're not actually chatting with the Designer to make edits on that prompt. So in this scenario with Copilot, I'm retaining the details on an image representing Windows 11 Copilot, and now it's making it more colorful. So you can see it's a Windows button there, Pilot, Cockpit, and I can make adjustments. So more on the updates. It's available on your Android phone platform as well as iOS. Okay. Hopefully we're getting more and more features. Do take note, these features are actually only available with Windows 11. You need to be on versions 22H2 or 23H2. And thing to notice is that the idea is that eventually, with new computers, you're going to be able to get the Copilot key on Windows 11 PCs. Today, you still need to press this button over here, bottom right, or you need to use the command Windows C to pop it up. All right, and hopefully in future, you actually have a dedicated button for it. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on is Windows 11 Copilot still requires internet to work. Okay, if I'm actually gonna disable my internet connection over here, so turn on do not disturb. Because I've cut the internet connection, it's no longer able to actually run that command prompt, and it's going to give me an error. I'm going to refresh it, unable to connect to internet. Be aware that your Windows 11 Copilot still requires you to be connected to the internet. So I hope that gives you a sense of Microsoft Copilot for Windows 11. The experience of Copilot, the way I see it, is it's going to become more and more unified. All right, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.